Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Board Game Backwards. I'm Shay.
And I'm Brian.
And today we are going to be playing the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Brian, have you ever heard of this game?
I have not. When I heard the name of the game, I thought it was going to have something to do with ducks. But looking at the artwork on the front, I think it's talking about quacks as in like a crazy person.
Yeah, people. Yeah. Yep, the Quacks of Quedlinburg. It is ranked 61 overall on BGG.
That's good.
7.8. 45-minute gameplay, and the weight is 1.95. So it's just a nice.
Easy.
It's easy. It's
straightforward.
a fun, like it's ranked number 9 in the family category.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those more family friendly games. It is designed by Wolfgang Warsch. Okay, let's open her up. Now, I should say, I recall watching like a gameplay of this quite a while ago.
Okay.
So I really don't know much at all. I watched a little commentary, listened to a little commentary by Shut Up and Sit Down. They really like this game.
I like Shut Up and Sit Down.
So yeah, the only thing I knew or that I remembered was something about the cauldron and potion making or something, which you had already discerned from the cover.
Yes, the cover art told me that much
you
at
needed
least.
to know.
Okay, so it up to 4 players.
Yeah,
So we're not going to have
we're not going to need those other
blue
two
and yellow.
cauldrons.
What about purple? I'm guessing
So
purple has a place somewhere. And there's blue.
that's like it looks like a resource sort of a thing. Like we have pumpkin and spider and
Okay, you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm
bird
starting
skull.
to think?
This is
That these are not player tokens, these are potion tokens. So we got to open
Right.
up all of them.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
You are on something.
Because this is a mandrake. And mandrake is a potion ingredient.
Yes. I'm not getting much from just looking at the components on how to play this game. I feel like there's going to be a lot of guesswork.
Looks like we each get 4 little wooden circles with the rat and 2 water. The other one's just blank. The moth and the pumpkin, they don't have a double. Like all of the potion ingredients have 2 books except for those. They only get the 1. So not only do we have our potion cards, I mean they're big too. It's a big potion cauldron player thing in front of us with flasks at the bottom, but then we also have a score tracker that shows a market of some sort, different trade values or something. I wonder if we start here on these little envelopes.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
maybe.
we probably don't want to start on 1.
Well, you start on 1, I'll start on 2. We'll just go from there.
I should probably start on 1 and you should probably... No, I should probably start on 20 and you should probably start on 1 to give me to make it a fair game.
Maybe. Okay, so based on what I'm reading, I think these... So there's 35 spaces in our potion. It sounds like we, each turn, will play ingredients to the spaces, and they kind of rotate through down the track. That's all I've got so far.
So this card for the spider says, for each green chip that is the last or next to last chip in your pot, you may pay 1 ruby to move your droplet 1 space. So we have 2 droplets, I'm not sure why, and we can move the droplet. I don't know where it would go. So like, it's like we put chips in our pot, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if they build on each other.
Well, it sounds like they move forward because a lot already, or a lot of the spell books talk about them moving forward. So like in this red book, it says if there are already orange chips in your pot, move the red chip forward according to the chart. And then it shows either 1 or 2, you move the red forward 1 space. And if there's 3 or more, 1 point for each rat tail you get this turn. What is a rat tail?
I don't know. Yeah, this one says use your rat stone normally.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is the rat stone.
On 1 to 3 rat tails. Oh. Yeah, that last wooden chip that we each get is a rat. I'm
guessing that's the rat stone, but what's rat tail?
Yeah, I don't see that anywhere. Rat tail. I mean, there's rats on the scoreboard on the points, but that's the only place I see rats like anywhere.
Ooh, this one references explosions. If you stopped without an explosion, drop to 5 chips. So there's a way that your pot or your potion can blow up, it sounds like. We get this, we put a white into our bag. Oh, there's the bag. Where does the bag come into play? I think this fills up with tokens. Maybe on our turn, we like draw one out at random. I'm guessing there's a process of like putting things in your bag and then drawing them out of the bag and adding them to your potion.
First, I say we just randomly pick a book for each potion ingredient.
So you get a blue book, I get a blue book, you get a yellow book, I get a yellow book.
This is for everyone. Like these go in the middle is what I'm thinking. There's 2, so we just randomly pick one to play with and then just put the other one in the box.
What if it rotates each turn?
What do you mean rotate?
So like this turn, this book is used. Next turn, we flip the book. Next turn, the next book is used. Next turn, that book is flipped.
My guess is it's probably just to help different different playthroughs. Like just to add some variety. Add some variety to it.
Grab 3 of each, throw them in a bag.
Okay. And when you say 3 of each number, if there's different numbers?
3 of each 1 value token. There's 3 reds for you. So on the books, there's a number at the bottom, which could be the number of spaces we have in our potion. So like if you've reached to space 15, you draw a 4 value red. And if you've reached space 15, you would get everything up to that number?
Possibly. I didn't.
So you get
'cause
4, 8, 10, 4.
That font for those numbers it does actually match the cauldron and not the victory point tracker. So they definitely correspond to the cauldron.
Yeah. Plus, I don't even know what the recipe is for the potion. Like, are we just adding
ingredients,
colors and ingredients willy-nilly, just like hoping to advance
like
something? Or is there like a goal, like I'm trying to make this potion that's worth this victory points and the recipe is very specific and you have to get those colors?
I mean, based on the fact that we don't have any recipes around, I'm gonna guess there's not any.
Yeah, I probably agree.
It seems like you choose ingredients just based on what these books say. Because like the mandrake says the next chip that is placed is moved ahead twice as far as the number indicates. Like each one does a different thing.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're really just choosing the ingredients.
Okay, so the game is played in rounds. And it sounds like after each round, you start over with your pot, your potion. That's what it sounds like based on some cards that I just read. So how many turns is a round? What's the goal of each round? How does your pot explode? These are all mysteries. This one's tough, man. This is a puzzler. How would you like to proceed?
That's a good question right there.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. On your turn, you draw from your bag and add those ingredients to your pot. Each round consists of 5 turns.
It could be 5, because that card that I read says if you've played 5, then you can either keep going or you can reset.
Okay. Let's go with 5. Round is 5
Okay.
turns each.
But then what happens after a round ends? We just grab new.
Well, then your
chips and-
potion is either complete or it explodes.
See, but I think the potion just keeps going throughout the whole game.
Unless it explodes.
Yeah.
Well, it
Because
sounds
I
like...
can't imagine after 5 turns, like we're not, it is because this isn't a deck builder. So I don't know how after 5 turns we would ever get very far in the potion. So I don't know why the potion would be so big.
Yeah. Where does the dice come in?
I'm wondering if that can just be a turn choice.
Like on your turn, you roll the dice?
Again, I'm wondering if, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, honestly. But all of these little banners on the score tracker, I'm wondering if you can choose. On your turn, you can either roll the dice, place an ingredient, gain a ruby. I don't know how that works. And I don't know what the question mark thing is, or what the question mark bubble is. Or you can trade in 2 rubies to move your droplet or do the vial action.
So we just have to start like making
funny.
assumptions.
It's like when we played Nidavellir or Nidavellir, however you say it.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at it and it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Where we were like, oh, this doesn't look very hard, and the weight's not that hard, and it seems kind of like one of those simple games. And then we were so lost. We just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Same thing's happening.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like the more complex the game is, somehow the easier it is for us to figure it out.
Well, I think the difference is that in complex games, the cards give you a lot of clues, like the card text. Okay, listen to this. This is cluing me into something. Listen. The next chip that is placed has moved ahead twice as far as its number indicates. So maybe the numbers on the chips are how many spaces it moves forward
from the last ingredient
on its turn or whatever, or when you place it. So like this little chip, it's got a 1, so we place it and then move it 1.
Yeah.
And then like each turn or each event where that would be moved, it moves forward that many spaces. Just 1.
Well, I feel like it's just like it's permanent. But then your next chip
is going to push it forward.
It's not going to push that one, but the next chip is going to move forward depending like from that location. So if I drew a 4, like I put my 1 poison in the 1 slot, but then if I drew like a 4 bird skull, then I would go 1, 2, 3, 4 and drop it in the 5 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next would go, and then the next, and then the next. So we'd be jumping through the pot really quick.
Yeah. I wonder if the droplet, after you have a certain number of tokens on the board, wherever your droplet is, as the droplet advances, it pushes everything in front of it that number of spaces.
Like I was just thinking on this red mushroom book, how it says number 15, it shows the number 4 ingredient.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, maybe once you get to number 15 on the potion thing, then you add all the number 4 ingredients to your bag. But if that was the case, then that wouldn't make sense, because then based on that, you wouldn't get even the first ingredient until you get to the 5th spot in the pot, which doesn't make any sense. So that kind of ruins that idea. Unless we start with these white little flower ingredients, because there's no booklet for that. Maybe we just have, those are our starting to help us get moving. And then once we reach, say, space 4, okay, now we can add the level 1 bird skulls. And then and the spiders. Then once we get to 5, we get the mushrooms. Once we get to 9, we get the mandrakes.
How many wild ones are we putting in our bag? Just the 3, or are we?
I suppose
3 ones.
We could add some
4 ones, 1, 2 twos, 1 3.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I think we could probably just go at the same time.
Let's go at the same time. Okay, I'm drawing my first 1.
I got a 1.
I also got a 1. Advances 1 space. All right, I'm drawing my second chip. It's a 2.
Mine's a 3.
Oh.
So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And now I'm on the 4 space.
I'm on the 3 space, so I'm going to add a pumpkin to my...
So yeah, do I just add from the spot, only the spot that I'm at? For the sake of it, let's just say that. So since I'm on the 5 or the 4, I get
A green and a blue.
bird skull and spider. And I got my bird skull on the 5. So I get a ruby to put in my ruby bag. And I get to add a mushroom.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So now we just reach in again, I guess.
3.
1.
When is the round over?
I don't know.
We're just going.
We're
just going. Okay. Oh, I got a 2 white.
I got the black.
For a delicious 14, which gives me a level 4 green and a level 4 blue.
Let's see. If you draw more black chips than one of the players sitting next to you.
What did I put? For each green chip that is the
Move.
last or next to last. And if this chip is on a ruby, immediately receive 1 ruby. I did it. It is not on a ruby.
Nice. Okay, so my last chip was a white, and then I just drew a red. If the previous place chip was white, add its value to the red chip, and then move the red chip that many spaces. So this is a 2 with a 2, move it 4.
Wow.
On to 16.
I think we played it wrong.
You think?
That's just a hunch.
Yeah.
That's just my gut telling me so.
Should we read the rules?
Yes. I thought you'd never ask.
Okay. Let's read the rules since we know we didn't play this right.
Oh, 0% of things were correct. That was a really hard one to wing. To just wing it. I feel like last week's was much easier to just guess what was going on and go for it.
Mm-hmm. The flame.
What flame?
There's a flame that we don't have. Oh, it was hiding. The flame.
Oh, no wonder we couldn't play right.
Figure out the.
If we'd had
if
that,
we had known about this flame
if we'd known
token,
the flame was there.
We would have.
All the mysteries would have been revealed.
So that flame token goes on the first flame spot. On
That's the number of
scoreboard.
rounds. There's 9 rounds.
It is the turn marker. For the first game, use set 1, so books with only 1 bookmark. Once you are familiar with the set, we recommend trying set 2, then set 3, and finally set 4.
Okay, so this is 3. This is 3 and 4.
That's
this
3.
Is. We just happen to get
2.
all the wrong one. Okay, there's 1.
So 1, 1.
So we need the other green, blue, and red.
See, and we could have figured that out, but honestly, I really didn't want to have to figure out what the bookmarks were all about. I noticed it, and I just didn't care.
I noticed it too. I thought it was just artistic liberties. I didn't know that they actually meant something.
Each player places their pot in front of them with the side without the test tubes facing up. What? We didn't even notice there was another side.
I can see clearly now. Okay. Oh, look, and you put a certain number in the bag. Okay.
We're dumb-dumbs.
We are dumb-dumbs, man. We didn't even think to look at both sides.
We just so happened to get the same side, and we just never thought that there would be anything else.
Yeah.
We place the droplet on the 0 space in the middle of the pot.
You got that right.
Yep. Now each player takes 4 white 1 chips, 2 white 2 chips, 1 white 3 chip. So we were almost perfect on that.
Yes. That is
you did
exactly
great.
what we did
you
with
did
the white.
Great on that. I think we just did 3, but we did
no,
3 ones.
We did 4, 2, 1, just like that.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, we did that exact thing.
You are just too good.
I mean, yes. Yes. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but now that you've said it, I feel
You concur?
like I can agree that I am too good. Wow, that's amazing that I guessed that.
That is amazing. Everyone except for the player in the lead can throw rat tails into their pots, which enables them to move their rat stones forward in their pots. To determine how many spaces the rat stones can move forward, each player counts the number of rat tails between them and the leading player on the scoring track. So the little rats. I noticed the rats on there.
So did I, and I wondered if those were the rat tails.
Yeah, me too.
The rat tails are spaced out basically every 2 spaces on the point tracker.
Mm-hmm.
So for every 2 points you are ahead, your opponents get an advantage of throwing a rat tail in their potion.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like tries to balance it out a little bit.
Yeah. Good news for you.
Yeah. According to its value, place the first chip you draw on the space directly after the droplet or rat if you have one in your pot. The chips have the values 1, 2, 3, and 4. If one chip goes on the first space after the droplet or rat, a 2 chip goes on the second space, which is exactly what we done did.
Yes.
For each subsequently drawn chip, place it after the previously laid chip according to its value.
That's what you said.
That's what I said. Any empty spaces in between remain empty.
That's what you said. We got a surprising number of things right, considering we were just blindly
After each
throwing stuff
chip
down.
is drawn and placed, if the sum of all white chips drawn exceeds the value of 7, you have too many cherry bombs in your potion and the pot explodes. So you have your value of the scoring space, which is the number.
Mhm.
You receive 1 ruby and then the victory points. So if we're looking at the one I'm pointing at, this 10, the scoring space in this example is a 10.
So you don't get points for each one that's filled. You only get
The last one.
the last one, even if it explodes.
Even if it explodes. Yep, you still place that last one and you get that score.
So what's the downside of the explosio?
You just can't go further. Your turn ends
Oh,
early.
that's the only
It
downside?
sounds like it. I mean, we might learn more. So the bonus die can only be rolled for the person who's furthest, who has the highest number.
Oh, okay.
And if it's a tie, then both of them score. But if I'm on 19 here and you're on 19 there, warning, players whose pot exploded now have to choose between either evaluation phase D or E. Those they have to choose. So D, beginning with the start player, everyone receives the victory points depicted on the respective scoring space. And you move your scoring marker along the track.
Mhm.
So this number is only to determine phase A, who rolls the die.
Gotcha.
But then the small number is the actual victory points that you get.
Okay, and everybody who didn't explode gets those victory points.
Everybody gets those who didn't explode.
If
But
you
if you
explode,
did explode, you have to choose.
You either get the victory points
or whatever the next spot is.
which is
You receive 15 victory points and can go shopping with 35 coins. Huh?
coins.
Where is this coming
said
from?
what?
The number of the scoring space is the number of coins the player gets that round for buying additional ingredients. The number on the book underneath the ingredient is the cost.
And you can only buy 2 chips no matter how many
No matter how much money
you have. Okay.
Okay, everyone, we have read the rules. We are ready to play. I'm excited. You
Yeah.
excited?
Yeah.
So some things that we got right. Surprisingly, we got a couple things.
Yeah, we did. Surprisingly.
So one of the big things is you reach into your bag, you pull out an ingredient, you put it down in your pot, obviously, but the number on the ingredient indicates how far away from the last ingredient you put it.
Which is what we were doing.
So that's what we were doing. That's what we got right.
And that you pull them all out of the bag, and we were even doing it like I was pulling them out faster than you were pulling them. And
Which
then
was
we read the
fine.
rules and you can pull
Right.
out at whatever speed you want because you do it simultaneously.
Right. You have the same number. Well, you might not after getting some money later on, but that's nice. Because now you don't have to. Some people are just faster with games.
Yeah.
So you don't have to kind of wait up for them. One thing that was a shock was that you nailed the amount of white ingredients, the cherry bombs that go into our bags.
I did. We had the wrong side of our cauldron face up, so we didn't know how we started, and I just out of nowhere just said, well, let's go 4-2-1 white chips, 4 ones,
the
2
knowledge
twos,
of the universe.
1 3, and I was absolutely right.
Yep.
Just
but everything else was wrong. I mean, everything else.
Yeah,
We didn't
it was
understand the turn tracker whatsoever, that you introduced different ingredients later on. Being able to purchase ingredients and their cost at the bottom and the amount of money we get on our call, like
we had no idea.
Basically everything else we got wrong.
Yeah. It was,
So, this game is really simple.
Uh-huh.
So I'm excited to see but even like how different the gameplay is going to be from what we first came up with.
Yeah.
So we are going to now play the game. If you want to hear a gameplay, feel free to head on over to our Patreon or subscribe on Spotify, and we will be back in a bit. All right, everyone, we are back. And with this, we've played 4 games together before this.
Uh-huh.
And I finally won.
You did. Congratulations. It was a sound victory.
So the final score was 70 to 54.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start by saying that. So tomorrow is actually my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yes, and because of that, I plan on going to the game store, picking up a couple games tomorrow. And I spent a lot of time today agonizing over what I want to get. Because it's not like I go to the game store all the time and buy games. It's actually pretty rare. And so I didn't know what to get, but I had heard so many good things about this game. And so I thought, well, we're going to play it later. I'll see if it's worth getting. I can say I'm 100% buying this game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because like I've said in the past, all the games I ever play with is basically with my family. I don't really have a game group.
Yeah.
Outside of my family, us playing games together like this is kind of, that's it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm always looking for a game that I really enjoy that has some strategy, but simple, that my family will enjoy. And I definitely feel like this is a fun family game. It can be strategic. I love games that can be strategic if you want it to, but you can also, like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you don't want to, not a lot of thought has to go into what ingredients you buy. If you really don't care, just buy whatever you can afford.
Yeah.
For me, I was thinking, okay, if I buy more pumpkins because I have all these mushrooms and that's going to really slingshot me forward. Oh, but he just bought a bunch of moths. So now I need to buy moths so that he doesn't, so there was a lot of strategy, but it didn't have to be. Uh-huh. And that's what I look for, is a game that, depending on the people I'm with, it can be as thought-provoking and strategic or as simple as you want. Both of us were trying really hard, and it was just as fun as if we weren't.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely buying this tomorrow.
Nice. It was a good game. I liked it. There's a little too much luck in it for it to be a favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to enjoy games more that have less luck and more strategy. Mm-hmm. This one had a little bit too much luck. Not to say it wasn't fun. It was fun. It was really, like you're pulling it out of the bag. You're doing the math in your head. Like, okay, this next one could bring me over the edge, but I'm going to go for it. That was fun. Just like having that, like knowing that this could make or break your entire game. Right.
But see,
this game, I happen to be unlucky.
Yes.
But that's probably a reason I don't love luck games as much as strategy games. I like having control.
Because it kind of feels unfair sometimes.
I like having control over what's going on. And there was strategy involved in what ingredients you're picking. But also, I feel like there was a lot of luck that I just didn't have any control over.
Right. Oh, I totally get it.
So it was fun. I enjoyed it. It is one that I'd be interested in playing again. And I think this is one that would probably play very differently with 4 people than just 2. Yeah. And with 2 people, you had a couple early great dice rolls, which I think gave you the edge to where I could not easily catch up. I mean, you got 2 dice rolls where you got 2 free orange pumpkins. Mm-hmm. And then you were able to get the mushrooms, which played off the pumpkins and have this little thing going,
right? Which
made it so that you got the free dice roll almost every round,
right?
Which adds up to quite an advantage over the course of 9 rounds. If you're getting dice rolls 7 more times than me, that could equal 5 extra victory points. It could equal multiple spaces ahead on your drop. It could equal free punt. Like that adds up. And there was nothing I could have done to change any of that outcome.
Right.
So I feel like it would play different with 4 people where the
You're
same
all
person
vying
is
for that
less
place.
likely to get it every round. So it's
Exactly.
kind of spread out a little more. Anyway.
I would completely agree. Yeah, I think that boost would be mitigated.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But I personally, and that's what I love about board games out there, is just because people love different games. I love the luck factor in this. There are some games that I play that I hate the luck.
Yeah.
Res Arcana is one.
Yeah.
I don't like the luck of that. But like Clank, loved it.
Yes.
Where it was, okay, is the dragon going to be rolled? Am I going to die or not?
Yes.
Do I risk it? So it's one of those. I talked about that in depth last time. That feeling of that risk.
Reaching into the bag.
Love that. Yeah, reaching into this bag and thinking like, I could explode my pot right now. But you know what? The odds are in my favor. I'm going to reach in, and it's just, you laugh when the odds were crazy and you blow up.
Yeah.
That's just, for me, that's what makes it fun. And I definitely think in a 4-player game, if 1 person or 2 people blow up out of the 4, it's easier to kind of laugh it off.
Yeah.
Versus a way more kind of competitive feel when it's just us 2. But another reason why I really like kind of that dash of luck, not heavy luck, but the reason why I like kind of this amount of luck is it's one of those things where the game honestly didn't take terribly long. And so I feel like if I lose, I'm not going to be all that upset. Because there are many games that I've lost and I just felt like I got cheated and I had to kind of push through it anyway, but I didn't want to play it anymore because I got unlucky and oh well. Yeah. But with this game, it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of just, it's fun luck.
Yeah.
Where, I got unlucky, but I'm having a good time kind of a thing. And I'm not going to win, but
Yeah.
And it could be one of those things too, where especially if you're playing with 4 people, you might be way behind, but then you might be able to risk it a lot more. And I'm sure if you played many of these games, there will be times where pushing your luck is actually going to get you that win.
Yeah.
Which would be really fun to see.
Yeah. Yeah. A part of me, I don't know. I guess I'd have to play it more. I feel like falling behind is really hard to come back from. Unless the other person is like blowing up their pot. But if you're ahead and you just play mildly conservatively, I feel like I can't conceive of any way that you can come back from that.
Unless you push your luck and you get lucky, which
unless
you did not.
Lucky, yes.
Because
But see, I don't love it when games depend on luck. When you winning isn't about your strategy or your planning, but it's just like they got unlucky and I got lucky and they won. I don't love that. That like the game hinges on you getting lucky. So it was fun. I like the game. It's a unique game.
Yeah.
I haven't played a game like this before, and so I like that. It was new. But I think it's too reliant on luck for it to become like a favorite.
Sure.
For me.
I get it, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's a really important view to share with all of you that are listening. If you don't like games that are kind of more heavily reliant on luck in certain situations, then maybe this game isn't for you.
Yeah.
Some other things that I really liked about the game, maybe it wasn't as much as it should have been, but the rat tails that you add to your potion when you're behind did help boost you a ton.
Yes, it did help.
Not enough, unfortunately.
Not enough.
But if they hadn't had that,
oh yeah, it would have been a slaughter.
It would have been ridiculous. Like we both would have hated it.
There absolutely would have been no way to come back.
We both would.
If it wasn't for the rat
I would have
tails.
hated it for you. Like I would have been like, what kind of game lets a player get so far behind? So, and what's cool is I saw how far you got, because there were some instances where I think, you were 5 ahead.
Rat tail. Yeah, I was starting
where
5 spaces
you
ahead.
eventually actually your droplet was ahead of mine.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm thinking, well, that's dumb. Like I'm in the lead and he's further than me in his droplet.
Uh-huh.
But I still won. And so the game, the designers clearly knew that.
Yes.
It might seem like, oh, that's such a big boost, but really, no, because I had more tokens, because I had more money earlier.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more to it than
Yeah.
just your droplet placement.
The rat tails was a cool mechanic, and it did make me feel like I could
You had a chance.
like I had a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if I remember right, there may have been 2 times where had you not drawn your 3, you would have gotten ahead of me in that particular round, and then you would have been able to roll the dice.
Yeah.
So you just got super unlucky.
Yeah.
Like really unlucky.
I know there were multiple times where I was like feeling in my bag. I was like, okay, there's like 7 tokens. One of them is going to make me blow up, but a 1 in 7 chance. I mean, it's
good odds.
Those are good odds.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet on those odds, and I just like lost every time.
Right. But when it comes to luck, it's not it. And statistics, we could play another game, and it could be easily the opposite.
Right.
You know, sometimes you're just going to have those negative games. So if you're one of those people that really don't like the luck, just don't play with it. But if you're willing to kind of, maybe sometimes I'll lose and I'll be upset about it because the luck, that bothered me. But I'm willing to accept that there will be other games that won't be that way. If you're okay with that, then try it.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned how unique it is, I love how how simple the game appears to be, and yet the potions, the ingredients make it so strategic. I love how and I feel like out of all the games we've played, this has the greatest chance of different paths towards victory. I kind of played more to the pumpkins and the mushroom.
Which was a good strategy.
Which worked out well.
Especially because you got 2 free pumpkins from the dice roll.
Right.
In your shoes, I'd have done the same thing. I'd have leaned way into that. And it paid off really well because you had some pumpkin mushroom combos that bumped you way ahead.
Mm-hmm. But you could easily kind of say, you know what? I'm actually going to go with spiders and bird skulls.
I think the bird skull is a powerful ability.
Bird skulls and the what did
Mandrake?
I forget? Yeah, bird skulls and mandrake. There's a lot of mix and match, and maybe when the poison comes in, I'm just going to load all my money. Because maybe I didn't actually go for a lot of pumpkins and mushrooms. And instead, I bought a mushroom here, a spider there, just mix and match, just kind of all of them. And then the moment poison comes out in round 3, poison is buying that. Might not take long before every round I'm drawing 3+, and I'm getting 2 victory points, and I'm moving the droplet every time. That would be a completely different strategy. So I like how this does seem to have very clear different directions. Whereas some games, it's like, you can kind of do different things, but not in a huge way. But this, I do feel like you can take it in a crazy direction.
Yeah.
Even just the number. Do you buy one that's worth 4, or do you load up on 1s? There's so much strategy if you want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of variety and things you could do. So it was good. I wish that somewhere in the track, or maybe on like the 4th or 5th flame, you get a free refill of your potion. Because I just feel like spending 2 rubies on that is not worth it when you could spend the rubies on moving your droplet forward. And I feel like moving your droplet forward is so much more advantageous than filling that. I feel like it's too expensive.
Yeah, even if I almost feel like if the potion was if you only had to do it with 1 ruby, like maybe the droplet was 2 and the potion refill was 1.
Yeah. Yes.
That might be.
I just feel like there was never I did eventually do it at the very end, refill it. But other than that, I felt like it was never worth, especially in the early stages of the game, never worth 2 rubies just to be able to use the potion ones. Because it can save you, but it can also, like, you use it, you put that token back, and then you draw it right back in, which you did once, right? Didn't you use the potion and then draw the same token
I got
again?
hosed.
So, like, maybe if using it, instead of putting it back in the bag, you set it aside, that would be huge.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But I just feel like it wasn't enough of an advantage, especially like to spend rubies on.
I mean, it very well could be, especially towards the end of the game. Because
that's why I refilled it at the end in the chance that it would pay off.
Which is another smart strategy, because I get to the end, I have a good amount. I probably have 10 left in my bag, and only one of them is going to get me to lose. So I could easily just be like, well, the chances are low.
Yeah.
So I'll risk it, because if I pull the 3, I can just use my flask. And that could potentially, I could go, especially with this round where we had the advantage of like extra spaces with the pumpkins and the mushrooms. Say I was able to launch in 2 moves, like 8 spaces that I otherwise wouldn't have felt willing to risk. That's a huge, huge bump.
Yeah.
So I think in the beginning, it's not really worth using, but close to that last round or second to last round, that can really come into play.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we done it.
We did it.
We did it. I had fun. Thanks. I appreciate the win. Sorry you didn't like it as much. I think it's kind of like it's like Res Arcana reversed. How you liked it and I didn't.
Well, I saw the flaws in Res Arcana, so I had a good time because I was
definitely
winning,
did see the flaws too. Yeah.
But it was a game that was close to being really good and needed a couple tweaks.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like this one too. Like, I liked it. I'd probably give it like a 6.5. So it's like upper middle tier.
Yeah, 6.5.
With a couple tweaks, especially with this potion. This is the one thing that I feel like if you changed it, well, just a simple change to how either that's refilled or how it's played, like, could make a big difference.
And that's an easy house rule.
It is an easy house rule.
If you want to, if you want to make it 1,
if I ever had
round
this game,
5 or 7, you're able to flip it for free.
And that's probably what I'd do. I'd probably have a house rule that changes this potion just a little bit.
Yeah, I'd probably make it worth 1. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, 1 ruby to refill. Yeah.
Kind of make it interesting.
Or 2 rubies refill, but instead of putting it back in the bag, you remove it from the bag.
Or a free refill on round 7. There's a whole bunch of...
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could change it. But yeah. But I'd probably give it like a 6.5.
I think I'd probably give it like a 7.7.
Okay, very specific.
Yep. That's what I would give it. Cuz I know of games that are 8s that I consider 8s and games that I consider 7.5s, so I'd say 7.7.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. We had a good time. Again, if you want to watch our playthrough and see how bad Brian's luck was, because it was just the fates were against him.
Very against me.
Then feel free to, like I said earlier, check out our Patreon or subscribe on Spotify to watch that gameplay. And we will see all of you next week.
Bye.